to the Corinth campus. I am Dr. Roxanne Del Rio, Dean of Students. September is Alcohol Awareness and Prevention Month, and at NCTC we have educational activities surrounding the effects of alcohol and drugs. With me today is Chief Nicole Shaw, our Chief of Police.
Hi, good morning. I'm Nicole Shaw, Chief of Police and Director of Public Safety for North Central Texas College. I also have with me the officers here at Corinth.
Hello, I'm Officer Barry Quadri.
Hello, I'm John Linden.
And with us today also is Mary Jo Prince, Program Manager. She's with Brazos Valley Injury Prevention Coalition and statewide initiatives, and also with the Reality Education for Drivers program.
Glad to be here. Thank you so much. Hello, I'm Mary Jo Prince with the Brazos Valley Injury Prevention Coalition and statewide initiatives. And on behalf of Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service and TxDOT, we are here on behalf of September Alcohol Awareness and Prevention Month. And I'm here with Chief Shaw from NCTC. And we want to reach out and, with a combination of education and enforcement, remind our students and everyone about the importance of making the right choices. And sometimes that the right choices are not always the popular choices. Chief Shaw, you see a lot of things on campus, things that you wish that were not occurring when it comes to alcohol consumption. What are some of the issues that you have to face every day, you and your staff, your safety team, that keep reoccurring?
I think mainly just the underage drinking aspect of it, where we have people that are well under 21 and maybe living in our dorms, not supposed to even possess alcohol, but they do, and they drink it and perhaps make some poor choices after that.
They do. Probably 20, 15 years ago, if we were addressing these issues, we would be saying don't drink till you're 21. It's against the law. Do your best. Try not to, make the wrong choices. But we know in today's world of reality that we know what's occurring. What do you think are some of the motivations or the reasons that our young people are making to go down that path?
I think a lot of it has to do with peer pressure. You get, the feeling of the pact, like a pact mentality, and just the old adage of, I can't have a good time without drinking, or everyone else is doing it, I'm gonna look like a loser, or I'm gonna look like I don't fit in. I think it has a lot to do with peer pressure and the people we surround ourselves with. And in a college situation, you can't always help that.
Absolutely.
Because you're assigned to a particular room and you may not have a choice in the matter. So it's not like picking your friends necessarily. You're in more of a controlled setting.
I know the issue has been addressed the last couple of years because of the pandemic, that also the conditions have added stress to our young people. Not knowing if they're going to get to come back to school or to campus at all. Thankfully, we've crossed that bridge and back to semi-normal. How do you think stress affects the students in making those choices? Do you see them as looking at short-term conditions for what could be long-term problems?
Oh, absolutely. The pandemic affected everyone. Adults may or may not have had a little more of a skill set and a background to be able to deal with those stressors, whereas our teenagers and children just don't have the skills to deal with that sort of stress. So their first or second, or maybe, they go to alcohol more quickly than someone else with a better skill set would have done. So I think stressors are definitely a contributing factor to the alcohol consumption, because we've never had a pandemic like this in our lifetime. So the fear of the unknown is probably the worst fear, because you just, like you said, you just don't know if you can come back. You don't know what's going to happen. So. And
it can affect grades and their attention factors and resetting priorities sometimes.
Sure.
It's going to look like, well, I was on track to graduate in 4 years or 2 years or whatever their path might have been, and now it's pushed that back, and financial concerns always come into play. What suggestions do you have for your students that may be facing some of these issues, both the peer pressure and the stress of maintaining their college and university career?
We have an excellent set of counselors that, not only for mental health issues, where they are well versed in that, and if they don't have the answer or can't provide a solution, we have partnerships with many different entities that we have at our disposal. So we can get you help. We just have to know you need help.
Absolutely. That's the first step.
Absolutely, and it's the hardest step.
It
Once
is.
you admit you need help,
Right.
the rest is, I don't want to say easy, it's still a lot of work, but it's all downhill from there. And we also have a wonderful set of tutors and instructors that want you to succeed, and they'll do anything in their power to do that, but again, they just have to know you need the help.
Great.
So first step is just reaching out and saying, I may not know what I need, but I need help with something, and we'll get you to the right direction.
It is the most important step, absolutely. I know you've got a great safety team and enforcement team. What steps do you take when you do see issues that need to be addressed?
Sure, we have a great partnership with the Dean of Students, and so there's two avenues we can deal with that. We can go the criminal route, or we can go an administrative route. And just like we're here doing today, I would rather education be at the forefront. Criminal sanctions are not the route we want to go all the time, and certainly first, I'm not trying to put someone in jail or write a ticket.
Right.
If we can educate and change a behavior, at the end of the day, we want behavior to be changed
Right.
for the better, whatever that looks like.
Sure.
And typically, it's through the Dean of Students route where they get some school sanctions. You start talking about your transcripts are going to be on hold. You may have some community service.
True.
That typically changes behaviors enough to where they're on a better path
Right.
and they've received the education that they need
Right.
to make better choices.
And sometimes those sanctions can be education in themselves.
Mhm.
Everybody deserves a second chance, and we're all human. Everybody has made bad choices at some point, and if they tell you otherwise, it's not true. And so sometimes those are eye openers that the state of Texas and our judges and law enforcement agencies give them that second chance. It's how you learn from your mistakes and not let them define you or the students. Let's talk about maybe a scenario with celebrations. This is fall and a lot of things, a lot of festivals and state fair even going on. And our young people tend to like to celebrate, whether it be at those events or tailgates or dorm parties or wherever they may be. And we're in Texas, and a lot of pickup trucks going around. And sometimes if there's more students or passengers in their space in the truck, a lot of them will jump into the back of the truck. We know that the open container law doesn't apply to those in the bed of the truck, but however, other laws do, such as legal drinking age, making sure they don't set themselves up for a public intoxication charge. Share a little bit about that, how we want them to have a good time, but at the same time we want them to be safe and sound, and so they can come back next semester.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
So you have minor consumption, minor possession. So there's a myriad of different laws that affect everyone in the vehicle. It's
Sure.
not just the driver anymore. Whereas the driver does have probably more responsibility for the safety of passengers in the car than anyone else. Everyone has their own responsibility for themselves. And so you can receive a citation even if you drank alcohol early in the day and I can still smell it on you. If there's an odor of an alcoholic beverage, you can still receive a citation for that. So let's be smart about it. Let's make some good decisions at the beginning of our evening so that we don't have to
Absolutely.
go that route.
I like the fact that you stress that the driver needs to be sober and responsible, because the consequences, that's what we find sometimes with our students and those that they can't look past the dashboard, that it's not going to happen to them.
Right.
It happens in the major cities, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, but right here in your own community of Corinth, Denton area, that it happens to, or can happen to anyone. We don't want families to get that knock on the door at 3 a.m.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to have to tell a parent that their precious child is not coming home.
And even that driver, something that students may not understand is you can get a driving while intoxicated, surely, if you are, you're impaired while you're driving. But even if you're not intoxicated and you're under 21, you can still receive a minor DWI. And all that means is that you're driving, you have alcohol in your system because we can smell it.
Right.
And that's a different criminal route, but it's still still a very hefty consequence for
Sure.
drinking
Sure.
and driving.
And if it can be proven, or if they've been under observation or monitored, and find that that driver who may be 21 has provided the alcohol to the minor, that they may be facing contributing to a minor
Absolutely.
down the road. Because it's we find in working with some of our students at A&M Agrilife that they think that they're invisible and that they're not being watched, and that officers just come out of nowhere, you know. And we try to tell them that they're trained, they observe, they have to be accountable, so they're not just going to jump in haphazardly. So again, make the right choices, and you won't get that tap on the shoulder
Right.
or come with me notice. So is there anything else that you would like to share or advice, or better yet, how I know NCTC has some great student leaders. How can the student leaders help in this cause? How can they, because peer-to-peer is one of the best approaches
Absolutely.
to taking ownership of the, trying not to avoid the issue and addressing the issue. How can your student leaders help in this cause and be part of the solution, not part of the problem?
Sure. Like you said, peer-to-peer is one of the most powerful in any group, not just a
Absolutely.
student group. So just getting that message out there where there are alternative ways to have fun. You don't have to have alcohol to have,
True.
to further your party. It's just really having their buy-in to our message about, education,
Mhm.
and really telling their peers the same message we're trying to get out.
That everybody wins that way.
Everybody wins.
You come into college, university, at the same time you want to certainly graduate together with the friends that you've made, and there's nothing worse, I'm sure, than waking up to see a headline or learn the news that a classmate or a fraternity or sorority member is not with us any longer. So that too is a wake up. Unfortunately, it's been happening too often. Chief, thank you so much for the opportunity to visit with you today and
pleasure.
learn a little bit about your campus and your team as well. If anybody has any further questions or wants to visit with you, maybe in private or one-on-one, how do they contact you?
Absolutely. We have one phone line for the entirety of our police force. It's 940-668-4270. Listen to the prompts and it'll get you to the campus that you need.
Great.
If you have any questions, email me is fine too. It's anshaw@nctc.edu, and we can chat in private. And if you have a question that I don't know the answer to, I'll find it or I'll get you in touch with someone else. Absolutely.
And feel free to call us at Texas A&M Agrilife Extension. I can be reached at maryjo.prince@ag.tamu.edu or 979-321-5225. Would love to visit with you and provide additional information.